In a world of 350 billion movie podcasts, two chumps have decided that now is the time for cult movies to engage in combat. Disagreements will be had, blood may be spilled, and voiceover artists most definitely will not be paid. This is Cult Film Face-Off.
Hello and welcome to episode 58 of Cult Film Face-Off. My name is Chuck Royless. With me, as usual, is Nick Leonard.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
This episode, we're going to be looking at two movies. Incidentally, thank you very much to Paul Sutton on Twitter, a.k.a. The Real Cack Lad, for this episode's suggestion. We are going to be looking at The Ice Pirates from 1984 and Space Truckers from 1996. We will start off, as usual, with the first film to be released, which is The Ice Pirates from 1984, directed by Stuart Gordon. A shabby bunch of reprobate space pirates team up with a princess in search of her missing father in the hopes of discovering a mythical source of precious H2O in an adjacent galaxy. The Ice Pirates.
At last, the space comedy you didn't know you were waiting to see. The Ice Pirates. In the far distant future, in a galaxy where those in the know don't go, real estate is cheap, and they've got great sushi. But there's no water.
You got any water?
It is a time when desperate men will swing from the chandeliers.
Pirates, sound the alarm!
Just to get a drink.
Just take a look at that.
Good men like Jason, space pirate, and explorer of the cosmos. His chief engineer and fellow rogue Roscoe.
They come. Good. Oh, here, quit that.
And the beautiful Princess Karina. One tiny band who must bust their buns, battling the masters of all the water in the galaxy. The evil Mithradoids, famous for not being nice.
Killing you would be too easy. I have something better in mind.
The Ice Pirates.
Right, I had never heard of The Ice Pirates. I'd never seen the poster. I'd never seen the trailer. This film is brand new to me. What about you?
Snap, 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 snap.
Okay. So talk me through it. How did you find The Ice Pirates?
Well, interesting, right? Because this would have come out at a time in my life when I wouldn't have gone near anything called The Ice Pirates anyway, because I was just like religiously renting horror films.
What, at 4 years old? It's come out in 84.
No, but by the time it's on the rental market in the UK.
What, 86? 85 maybe? You would have been well young. This is right up your alley. I would have loved this if I'd have seen it when I was a kid.
Hang on a minute. Look, what I'm saying is, things would have hung around on the VHS shelves in rental places for fucking donkeys, right? Yeah. When I was going into rental shops, right, all I was doing was sledging through horror films, martial arts films. In fact, if I had watched this when I was young, I would have really enjoyed it. Yeah. You know, this is one of those films where I was immediately just like, oh, because a part of me was just like, oh, you know, Battle Beyond the Stars, kind of, you know, a kid's kind of romp and all this kind of thing. This was actually very enjoyable. It's swashbuckling in space, you know, with robots. It's actually got some pretty good gags, and the score's pretty good, by the way, as well, by Bruce Broughton. It's a good score. There's a fart gag, which, I mean, really had me laughing, with a guy who's he's a half turkey, half man creature. He farts, and then he gets knocked unconscious.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, it's brilliant, because you know, Bernard Matthews' half-breed son, he pops up later in the film nursing a huge bump from that.
Right, yeah.
I love that. Yeah. It's that kind of like George Lucas referential thing of what it does really well, is it makes you care a little bit about creatures, and I love that, you know, him coming back into the story. Yeah, I thought the cast, top to bottom, were all really good in this. Yeah. You know, they were likeable. There was tons of action, tons of set pieces. I enjoyed this film.
Yeah, I mean, they don't make them like this anymore, and I don't think, aside from this, they ever did, and they never will do again. This is like some screenwriter got blind drunk and smashed like 5 sitcom pilots together and then set it in space. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, I really enjoyed it as well. It's a true original. It's truly an original film. I mean, the thing I love, it's camp immediately. the music. I mean, some people might say, "How can music be camp?" The music starts. I was like, "This is camp," and then the tone of the narrator. I was like, "This is really camp."
There is. Go on, sorry.
No, carry on.
Oh, no, because this campness permeates the
Throughout.
film, right? Because the chief baddie, right, is Kenneth Williams in look and vocally,
that's
right?
very true.
Yeah, I mean, as I just said, the cast top to bottom are really good. I mean, Angelica Houston in it. I mean, there's some proper acting.
I think she does seem a little bit lost.
I think she's there going, "What the fuck am I doing? What did my agent sign me up for?"
Yeah, I did. When I saw her name in the cast, I was like, "Whoa, okay." Yeah, she does seem a little bit.
She looks great.
Yeah, but it is a glorified cameo, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Ron Perlman. I mean, that's a glorified cameo. He doesn't get anything to do apart from lose a hand.
I think Ron Perlman must have been born looking like he was 30, because I mean,
but also he's half the size he is now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
he's an adult, but he's a fully formed adult, but he is tiny.
He might have been in his teens when he made this. I mean, he knows.
He can't have been. He's had a beard.
No, but he looks.
I mean, a full.
Yeah, but I reckon in his teens he looked like he was about 40.
Well, probably 40.
Yeah.
And then you've got. I mean, yeah, it's a good. I mean, also, I mean, fucking hell, man. Robert Ulrich is a really good leading man.
Totally
he's kind of debonair. He's a bit suave. He's a bit kind of. I mean, very sad that he died really young. He didn't. Yeah, he died at 55.
Oh, yeah.
He's great. He's great in this. Bit morose, but maybe cut it out. Killjoy, who's played by John Matsuak. Have you seen him in anything?
Possibly.
He's Sloth in the Goonies.
Oh yes, I did. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I think I read that after I'd seen it. But yeah.
Yeah, he's cropped up in previous cult film face-off films. He was in One Crazy Summer as Stain. Yeah, he's one of the huge, big, hulking guys at the beginning.
Yeah.
He died young, 38. Prescription drugs.
Why are we listing people that are dead? I really like the sloppiness of this. Apparently, they slashed the budget brutally at the last minute, and it was supposed to be semi-serious. So they said we want it to be a comedy, and we're going to more than half the budget. And I think that's one of those situations where I think the execs made exactly the right choice. This is better for. Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe it was a great sci-fi film initially, but this seems like the way to go with this movie.
That's interesting because that probably explains quite a lot. It's a really bizarre film. Yeah. It's a real ramshackle film, but it's a film that's got quite a lot of adult stuff in there that you just
randomly.
What?
Yeah.
There's some real. I mean, this film actually made me laugh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty fucking difficult to make laugh, to be honest, in my cynical old age.
Yeah.
There's some really good sight gags with the robots. There's a robot where a robot gets pushed over the edge, and the other two they stand to attention like we don't want to get pushed over the edge, and they salute him. That's really fucking good. And there's another scene later on where one of the robots plays dead in quite a funny visual way. That's done well.
It kind of sort of flips between being really randomly harsh and then being really upbeat and being really adult and being really juvenile. During a chase. There's a joke, like a droid gets run over, and then you see its child going, "Mummy, Mummy." I was like, "Whoa, why is that suddenly just a side gag that's so dark?" And then immediately after that, there is the best moment in the film where they introduce the pimp droid.
Oh, dude. Y'all want some titties? That'd be my bad chariot. We should cut the audio into this episode, because that scene is 100% dynamite.
I was totally not expecting it was dynamite.
I'll rewound it.
Hey, Jackson. Hey, Bloods, y'all want to pump some kitties?
Yeah.
No.
Hey, it's been a long time.
Finest kitties on Mithra.
No, get the hell out of here.
Transportation and exotic cribs be included. Yeah, Blood. These mamas transport your ass to the
Transportation.
We take water, gold, credit cards, and high-price drugs.
Yeah.
I heard that. You got the deal. Let's book, Blood. This be my bad chariot.
That'd be my bad chariot. I mean, he's like a robot version of Dolomite.
Yeah, right. And then, like, they have a whole sequence where there's an alien species, and then the whole thing is set up so that you can go, ha, one of the guys has got herpes. I was like, what the fuck? Is this a kids' movie? What is this? And then there's random bits of racism that's played for laughs.
There's a lot of reference of, like, well, of course I made him black. Like, it's black robot. Like, yeah, it really is bizarre, but in all the right way, in all the right ways. A bit that made me know is that there is a part of the film where all of the crew are kind of being emasculated and being castrated to become.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Like to be made for sale, and basically what they're being turned into is
118 guys.
Huh?
The guys from the 118 advert, albino.
No, this is they're not albinos in the 118.
No, albino versions of those guys. But yeah.
Well, yeah, but what I thought they were being turned into were versions of the late 80s high-pitched voice child prodigy James Charles Harris.
Oh, right, he's the little guy.
Yeah, who's now a woman.
Oh, I know.
He was on Wogan.
I remember.
He had an IQ of something ridiculous, and he was an antiques expert. Literally, they're all turned into him.
It's so weird that it goes off on that weird tangent. It's like a castration comedy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this it's an unbelievably weird film. The only thing I think that's wrong with it is that it never kind of slows down. It sort of starts and it doesn't.
It's at a frenetic pace.
But it doesn't even stop to lay it stall out and say this is
and then they all start going towards the end. That made me laugh. I was like, everyone's starting to age progressively.
Yeah.
That was quite funny.
Yeah,
and then suddenly it ends. It's kind of like, then you draw a breath. I was just like, well, fuck. I mean, I was completely entertained from beginning to end.
I mean, but there's no lulls in it. I mean, initially I was like, where's the lull? I'm waiting for this movie to start because it starts and it's so frenetic and so frantic. And there's a scene where it stops, it slows down. And there's a scene on the bridge of the ship they're trying to rob, and they're having snacks and they're talking to the crew.
Oh no, there's almost like a Mos Eisley sequence.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, like we're going to learn who these characters. No, not the bit when Angelica Houston hacks that guy up. No,
okay.
At the very beginning,
because that whole scene is really good.
That is good. But at the beginning, when they first board that ship, this is the first thing that happens, and it's just chaotic. And then they go into the bridge, and they're having a slow scene where they get chicken out of that vending machine, and they're just eating. And I'm like, okay, this is. Who are these people? What are they doing? What's going to happen? What's the story of this movie? And then one of those blonde 118 gymnasium guys just shoots him, and there's like, we're back in action. I was like, this movie doesn't have, it either doesn't have a clue or it has such a great idea of what it wants to be that it's just going to be just like, this is going to be one long fucking frenetic chase comedy.
And then I kind of like it. It always goes a bit Mad Max. When they're around they're on the planet, and it's kind of, I was like, this is like Mad Max done on like 50p. It's fucking brilliant.
And you've got that romance with the cabbage lady.
Oh yeah.
I was like, this is a really good movie. I mean, it's so entertaining. I like the way they just there was a bit where they brought baby donkeys, and they just there's baby donkeys. I was like, well, why not? Just have baby donkeys involved. And then there's those random shots of those meerkats popping their heads up. It's sort of spliced in. And then there's a fight scene. I think it's the Angelica Houston fight scene. It just keeps cutting to the reaction shot of a dog, and I'm like, this. I swear to God, everybody making this film must have been high as fucking pint.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, but the thing is about this whole thing about it suddenly being harsh and everything. It's like, the female lead. She's very attached to this kind of nanny figure, and then they all start aging. She went, oh no, nanny, and she goes in. It's literally like fucking Norman Bates' mother. She's completely she's gutted, but then you're like, and then we charge on to another sequence.
Back to the other. I love those minion junk droids as well. They reminded me of the thumbs from Spy Kids.
There's some great stuff with the robots.
I mean, the one problem, I suppose, is the action is very poorly staged. I mean, what I think the director did, I mean, I don't think he did this. I know he did this because it's readily apparent. He said, do everything in slow motion, I'll just speed it up, and it will look like it's in real time. That's the technique. Everything's sped up to make it look like it's happening in some kind of like the chase scenes, everything, the fight scenes, it's all sped up, and it looks. I don't think it's badly directed as such. I think the action's badly staged, but I mean, it is what it is, which is like an Errol Flynn style pirate movie set in the future with lame jokes. Well, the lame jokes to kind of distract you away from how cheap it is.
That's it in a nutshell. But it's so much fun. It's just a really fun time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and it also when it ends, and it's kind of a twist, I guess, that they're going to. I don't know whether it's a contemporary Earth, but I thought I would if there was a sequel. Yeah. And it's kind of like a Star Trek 4 situation where they're going to modern day England, modern day Earth. I'd be like, I'd be all over that.
Yeah. It mashes things up really well, though. It's got kind of these knights, they're quite good. They look cool. If I was a kid, I'd just be loving the fuck out of this. Yeah. Everything looks really cool.
It does look like a lot of like they went into a costume shop and said, "We'll take whatever you've got. We'll take everything.
We're doing all of it. And put it all in the movie."
Yeah. But it is haphazard in a really, really great way. I don't think there are many movies that work this well that are this fucking all over the goddamn shop.
No, because they normally fall into the kind of category of being far too kind of childlike and kind of dumbing down on the audience. Yeah. And this is just a fucking mad ride.
Yeah. It's like a really, really happy accident.
Yeah. And did the director go on to do anything?
No, he's an English guy. Actually, at the beginning, there's a scene where there's a character with a beret shouting "Power to the people," and I was like, that's very reminiscent of the British sitcom character Wolfie Smith from.
God, Robert Lindsay.
Yeah. And yeah,
he's the director.
No, he's not. But I immediately that's definitely a reference. And I googled the director, and it's he started working. He's born in his original. He originally started working in England, but this is there are no. I can't think of a film to compare this to. It's like.
How about Space Truckers?
Good call. All right, okay, well, I think we both established we like that film. But let's move on to the second film we're going to be talking about, which is Space Truckers from 1996, directed by Stuart Gordon. Down on his luck, space trucker John Canyon is captured by intergalactic pirates midway through a lucrative transportation job and slowly realises that his contraband consists of deadly androids programmed to wipe out planet Earth. Space Truckers.
Attention, all personnel. The room is sealed.
Set your weapons for close range!
In the year 2196.
Just lost contact with Command Post 3 outside the second perimeter.
It's right outside!
Someone has developed the ultimate destructive force. All they need is a man who'll deliver.
What have you got?
It is a rush shipment to Earth.
No questions asked.
We'll do it.
Geez, I've never seen trailers like these before. They look,
creepy.
You better power down, Canyon.
It's coming! Look out!
You gotta tell us how to stop these things.
Dennis Hopper, Stephen Dorff, and Debbie Mazar.
Fire it up!
Space Truckers.
Okay, so Space Truckers. I hadn't seen this before, but I was aware of it. Was this new to you?
No, it wasn't new to me. I was very aware of it because this came out when I was working my shifts at Blockbuster Video.
And you didn't rent it?
No.
Really?
But it got rented loads.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw it in movie magazines. I remember it got a small release in the UK, and I did look to see if any of my local cinemas were playing it at the time because I just liked the title, Space Truckers. I thought, hey, why not? And it must have got released in about 2 cinemas in the UK. So, yeah. And it had an awful poster, an absolutely awful poster.
Cheap.
Cheap and nasty poster, but if you look at Space Truckers on the IMDb now, there's a new. Obviously, they've taken the DVD artwork, which is like blood red, really dramatic, and it's Earth's Only Hope. And I'm like, whoa! If you rent that, you expect like something like Mission to Mars or something, and you get Space
you get square pigs.
Okay, so
square pork.
What did you make of Space Truckers?
What did I make of it? So it's got a quite an interesting cast. It's Dennis Hopper's in there.
Yep.
Is Canyon, Stephen Dorff as Mike, and Cindy is Debbie Mazar, and a kind of extended cameo from Charles Dance, who's in a pretty decent pre-credit sequence. I just want to segue a little bit. Have you heard my story about Charles Dance?
Yeah, but please do tell it.
Okay, so I went to school with Charles Dance's son when I was in primary school, and. I work in Soho, and I was just waiting for a guy to turn up for a meeting for a cup of coffee. Yeah. And I see this kind of figure stride past me, and I kind of glanced around, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's Charles Dance." And I was like, "Oh, the moment's gone." So I was just waiting there. I was on my phone, and then basically strode back, and then he started looking in this shop window, which sells all these very, very old cameras and everything. I just thought, I've just got to say it. So I said, "Excuse me, Mr. Dance." He went, "Yes." I said, "Hi, my name's Nick. I used to go to school with your son Oliver." He went, "Right." I went, "Yeah, we used to go to school at like Fairley House." He went, "Okay." And I went, "Yeah, and basically my memory of his son was that he was a fucking dude because I had a load of kids who were like 2 years above me. And we were playing in a park, and they basically just grabbed a load of dry leaves, and they were just shoving it down my trousers, down my fucking jumper and everything. And Charles Dance, Oliver Dance's son, came over and went, "Fucking leave him alone." I was just like, "Fucking, you're my hero, dude." I was my little 8-year-old self. And I just said, "Yeah," I said, "Your son was is a lovely guy." He's like, "Yes, Oliver. Yes, he did go to that school." He went, "I remember the sports day." Oliver was in the relay race and his friend fell over, and instead of winning the race, Oliver turned around and helped the boy up. And he looked at me and went, he always did love a lame duck. I got completely parred off,
totally mugged off
by Charles Dance.
That is turning mugging someone off into an art form. What
can you say? I got parred properly.
So do you have any do you have any ill will towards Charles Dance?
No, I thought the fucking fair play, fucking balls to do that and walk off.
But could you judge his performance in Space Truckers fairly? Because I thought he was really, really good.
All of the best fucking lines come from Charles Dance. All the best gags come from Charles Dance. I mean, the best sight gag in the film is about his penis.
Yeah, I mean, his seduction scene is great. He plays a great grotesque. Yeah. But that seduction scene, I was like, is this a kid's film?
This is the whole thing. I started watching it. The first 10 minutes, I was like, this is fucking rubbish. Right. This is going to be dry as fuck, right? And then it started picking it up. And from the point of Norm from Cheers being sucked out of a very small window in a space bar, I was like, hang on a minute, this is actually going to be all right. And I scanned IMDb and I'm like, oh, fucking hell, this is directed by Stuart Gordon, who did Reanimate. And I'm like, now it all makes sense. Now it's very much tongue-in-cheek, it's very gross-out comedy, loads of body fucking horror. Yeah, it got a lot better. Charles Dance is brilliant.
He is really, really good, actually, and that scene it's really unpleasant, but he plays it beautifully. I did love the really garish look of it. I mean, in the beginning, it looks like a cartoon, and I was like, this is a really pleasing film to look at. This is a movie that I think is very unusual because it doesn't need this budget. It's quite a big budget film, and this would have been
25 million.
And it would have been so much better if they made the decision like they did with the Ice Pirates, where they stripped. If an exec came in here and said, we're halving the budget, we need more gags, I think this film would have benefited. It's kind of the flip side of the coin. They've got more money than they know what to do with. And Stuart Gordon's a B-movie maestro. He shouldn't really be he's not. He shouldn't be. I don't think he seems that he doesn't. It's not a great fit.
But there are scenes that play out very well. I mean, I love the fact like these robots are played by these models that kind of move in this kind. It's all like female, very leggy female models who play those robots. And there's some really good scenes when they are fucking slicing and dicing and attacking the crew and stuff that are done pretty well.
There's moments, but I just think it's one of those movies where I think it would have flourished if they cut the budget. Weirdly, I think it would have really benefited it.
I thought the practical effects were done really well.
Yeah,
they were all done by Screaming Mad George, who's done Big Trouble in Little China and Predator. He's fucking great. Especially like there's a moment where there's a woman who Stephen Dorff goes up to and just basically peels back her head to type the code in to go through to another room. That's fucking wicked.
Yeah, it's really good.
It kind of won me over in the middle section, and then got a bit sort of it watered down a little bit towards the last furlong.
It's not really the same movie.
The finale's crap.
Yeah, the final third is kind of dull and murky and repetitive, and it's like a tepid action movie. And I was kind of gutted.
It's got a really good central section.
Yeah, I think it starts relatively well-ish. But it's one of those weird things where like they go to the trouble of building that wicked set, the sort of spherical diner.
Yeah.
And I thought a cheaper movie would have had to
reuse it.
And I felt kind of bad because like they've got so much money that they're just.
I mean, I didn't feel it looked lush on screen.
Yeah, I mean.
It felt a bit Red Dwarfian.
It did, but it was also. I think the casting's quite weird. Donald Sutherland. I was going to say no. Dennis Hopper's very, very versatile, and he can do basically anything. But Stephen Dorff and
she was bad. She was an annoying screen presence. She was annoying. Every line was annoying. She didn't have sass. She didn't have sex appeal.
I think this was like a studio taking a gamble on two. I think both of those. I think Stephen Dorff and Debbie Mazar are actually very good when they're supporting characters. I think they're always very, very solid.
They're terrible when they're together.
But I don't think they're great as...
There's no chemistry.
That's true, but I just don't think they can carry a movie like this. I think it was a gamble that I don't think paid off. I think Stephen Dorff has been brilliant when he's like
he's been brilliant in other films. He's not brilliant in this.
She's also great when she's like...
She's been good in other films as well.
I don't think that...
Neither of them are good in this film.
No, that's true. But I think this is their first attempt to sort of put them centre stage, and I don't think they cut it, to be honest.
No, because I just don't think they've got that kind of you almost need like an extroverted character to kind of pull that sort of stuff off in this film that works really well. Dennis Hopper just works well because it's Dennis fucking Hopper. Yeah. But the characters that work well, Charles Dance, Norm from Cheers, they're kind of like really cartoony. And Stephen Dorff and Debbie Mazar just felt like they were trying to take the material a bit seriously, and they came off as being a bit trite and wooden.
Yeah, I don't think they were very good. I mean, Vernon Wells is in it, and he's obviously Bennett.
Oh, Vernon Wells is great in everything he does. I mean, Weird Science as the Lord General.
I mean, I still haven't seen Weird Science.
Mad Max.
He's not in Mad Max.
Mad Max 2, yeah.
Oh, he's in Mad Max 2, is he?
Yeah. He's got a chain round his...
Oh, I know who he... Yeah, of course.
He plays literally the same character in Weird Science. He looks like the same dude.
He's a great baddie. But
he's just great in everything, right?
He's not in it enough.
He's underused.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was enjoyable for a little while, and then it kind of just fell into repetition.
I was like, there's a middle section which was very entertaining. I thought the beginning took a while to get to... Until that sequence came, as I said before, I really enjoyed the sequence with Norm getting sucked out of a very small window in space. And they had a good central section, and as soon as Charles Dance is in there, it's great. And then it dwindles, and then it just kind of drags out that last 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, it's
drags.
Yeah, big time.
It could have really benefited from just lobbing off for 20 minutes at the end.
Well, I mean, the very, very end, the coda after the extra is really bizarre because they return to...
It's a really cheesy ending.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense, really, because they all go back...
I thought it'd be really good and dark. I thought Stuart Gordon was like, kill Hopper.
Yeah, right. But they go back and they see Debbie Mazar's mother... And
who's an absolute... chirps.
Yeah, she's the same age as her
and then
daughter.
Hopper's like...
Yeah, but because... It would have been quite a nice idea if like her mum was going to hook up with Dennis Hopper, but they would never do that. Instead, they had to make sure that she looked as young and hot as Debbie Mazar, and now it's acceptable because it would be beyond the pale if Dennis Hopper... You reckon she's hot?
Definitely.
But it was just like, it was beyond the pale that Dennis Hopper would get with someone who looks his own age.
Intergalactic MILF.
But it's so weird how they have this big discussion about the moral implications of accepting a bribe from the government, and Dennis Hopper's like, don't do it, kid.
Yeah.
And then Stephen Dorff throws the case of money out of the window. It lands on top of the president who made them the offer, and his car explodes, and then they sail off into the space like happy ever after. It's such a weird
It's
ending.
a really odd ending. And it's not amped up enough to be really funny.
Yeah.
I
don't know. It's just like, what? But
I wanted to really do a really batshit crazy ending, and it wasn't. It was just a bit of a kind of a... You kind of just raise your eyebrow and go, what the fuck?
Yeah, but it was an attempt to be safe. I mean, I think the whole film plays it a little bit too safe.
Yeah, because they've got studio breathing down their fucking necks.
And it just, like
they haven't got the freedom to...
It would have been better, cheaper movie, slightly different cast.
Yeah. And then just more creative control of Stuart Gordon.
Yeah, I'd much rather have seen that movie. But this isn't terrible. I mean, like... I
was preparing myself for something much worse.
Because it is it's not really a renowned turkey, but it's not... Well, it kind of is.
It's a renowned turkey.
Yeah, it is.
It's not held in high regard.
But I mean, it's way better than I expected. It's just it's one of those movies you watch and you're like, this could have been great.
Yeah, and there's moments that play out that are very entertaining.
Aside from Charles Dance is brilliant in this. I think he plays such
Charles
a great,
Dance is
horribly grotesque.
Charles Dance steals every scene that he's in.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Hopper's very good in it. I mean, it's more's the pity that Stephen Dorff and Debbie Mazar are just the weak links really in the cast, and they're given a lot of screen time.
Yeah, I think this was their big opportunity to prove that they've got what it takes to front a film, and I think I didn't think that worked, but I think both of them have been
in
very,
great other
very
things.
strong.
Yeah, I agree. So look, let's get down to it, buppers. Where are we going? Ice Pirates. Space Truckers.
I didn't mind Space Truckers, but I really, really enjoyed Ice Pirates.
I really liked Ice Pirates and Space Truckers. Yeah, I really enjoyed Ice Pirates. It's the better film in every way, and Space Truckers feels like a bit of a missed opportunity, but it's not without its moments.
Yeah.
It's there is enjoyment to be had. It's a 2.5 star film.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Ice Pirates should have been a catastrophe. That should have been like one of the all-time great follies, but it's too entertaining.
Yeah.
It's too entertaining. I mean, it's kind of rubbish, but it's also kind of great at the same time.
Yeah.
I really enjoy. I mean, I will probably watch this again at some point.
Yeah, so do I. So we did have some correspondence on this from Paul Sutton, the real cack lad.
Yeah.
I spent most of Ice Pirates thinking, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. It's hit and miss the whole way through, but the last 10-15 minutes is sheer comedy genius. It deserves a much bigger cult following.
It does.
Well, look, I'd agree.
Yeah,
I'd agree. It does deserve a much bigger cult following.
It is hit and miss, but like the hits are so strong. Like I just
there's way more hit than miss.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. well. Okay, well, I guess that's it then. Ice Pirates is the winner.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and all that stuff. Episodes are on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, we'll be back in a fortnight. Take it easy.
Sure, boy.
Cult Film Face-Off.
I rebuilt everything. Every organ. I emit a low-amp electrical wang pulse designed to drive women wild with pleasure.
Stop! You're gonna make me puke.